All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever looked at a car with a crazy price tag and just wondered, why? What makes it worth so much? Well, today we're breaking down this incredible experiment that does exactly that. We're going to go on a journey from a car that costs less than a fancy coffee all the way up to one worth a mind-blowing $100 million.
And yeah, that quote right there, that's the whole mission. The point wasn't just to get behind the wheel of these amazing machines. Oh no, they were going to explode them, sail them, even fly them, all to figure out what in the world justifies these price tags. This is a quest to find out what value really means when it comes to cars.
So that's the big question, right? What really changes? Because it's not just about adding a bunch of zeros. It's about how the very idea of what a car is completely transforms. We're going to see it go from a basic tool to a high-tech gadget to a wild spectacle and finally, to a piece of history.
Okay, so our journey kicks off with the most dramatic jump you can imagine. This first leap shows us how you go from the absolute bare minimum, 4 wheels and an engine, to the cutting edge of what's possible today.
I mean, the difference here is just wild. On one side, you've got a $1 car that's literally falling apart. It needed 20 grand in repairs just to move. On the other side, for $100,000, you get a machine that isn't just ridiculously fast, it's smart. It drives itself. It changes lanes for you. So that first massive price jump, it's all about performance and, this is huge, autonomy.
So from there, things get weird. We're entering a whole new category. At this point, value isn't just about getting you from A to B anymore. Nope. It's about pure spectacle. It's about cars that can do things that seem basically impossible.
For 300 grand, what do you get? You get what's being called the safest car on the planet. And this is not your typical luxury car. We're talking about a full-on, military-grade armored vehicle. And of course, they had to put that claim to the ultimate test.
And the test they run is just perfect. First, they blow up a regular car. Total carnage, fire, destruction, mannequins go flying, but then they set off the same explosion next to the armored car, and it just kind of hops. It survives with a few scratches, and everything inside, the mannequins and even some chocolate bars, is totally fine. That's what $300,000 buys you. You're explosion-proof.
Okay, so if 300 grand gets you an explosion-proof car, what does another 200K get you? Well, the spectacle just keeps going. For $500,000, the laws of physics start to feel more like suggestions. This car looks totally normal, but you can drive it right off a ramp, into a lake, push a button, and boom, you're in a boat.
You think it can't get any crazier? Oh, it does. This quote sets it up perfectly. At $600,000, we leave the ground behind completely. This thing is a street-legal car that also happens to have wings and a propeller. It can actually fly up to 8,000 feet. It's a car that flies. Insane.
All right, so now we're shifting gears big time. We're moving away from these crazy specialized functions and into the world of pure, raw performance. This is hypercar territory, where millions of dollars are spent chasing one thing: speed.
So what on earth makes a car worth 10 million bucks? Well, with this Koenigsegg, it's about taking everything to the absolute limit. It's a one-of-one creation, an engineering masterpiece. The paint has literal crushed diamonds in it. I mean, come on. But the real magic is the air-core carbon fiber frame that lets it hit these unbelievable speeds. It's just a work of art and power.
Okay, and this is where everything changes. The whole idea of value gets flipped on its head. We're moving past performance, past gadgets. Now, a car's worth is all about its story, its legacy, and who used to own it. And to really get this, we got to go to a legend, Jay Leno. The guy doesn't just own cars, he's a custodian of automotive history. And his McLaren F1, it's not just a car anymore. It's a serious financial asset.
Just look at these numbers. They're insane. Leno bought this thing back in '98 for $800,000. Today, it's worth $20 million. That means it went up in value by about $1 million a year, every single year. Its value comes from being a landmark, a true icon of design. From here, it just escalates. We're not even talking about cars you can just drive anymore. These are museum pieces, so precious that just to get them on the road for this, they needed a full police escort. They're basically priceless artifacts on wheels.
And the stories behind these numbers are what give them their power. The $30 million car is a one-of-a-kind Ferrari. Get this, it was built as a gift from Enzo Ferrari himself to Henry Ford. A piece of history right there. And the $50 million car? That's the most expensive Jaguar on Earth because it was the personal car of the king of cool, Steve McQueen. That's what you're paying for, the story.
And that brings us to the top, the absolute peak of the mountain. We've finally arrived at the final car, which isn't just expensive, it's a foundational piece of automotive history. This is it, the $100 million car. Before you even see the car, just look at what it takes to drive it a few hundred feet. The police shut down roads and a bridge. They hired street cleaners just to fill every single pothole. And only one person on the entire planet is even allowed to get behind the wheel. This isn't just being careful. This is how you handle an irreplaceable artifact.
$100 million. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a number so big, it almost doesn't feel real. But the reason for it? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple.
And there you have it. That's the reason for that 9-figure price. This isn't just a Ferrari. It is the Ferrari, the very first one ever. It's the origin point of a legend. And really, how can you even put a price on an origin story like that?
So, after this whole incredible journey, we're left with this one big question, right? We've seen a car's value come from how useful it is, its tech, the crazy stuff it can do, its speed, and finally, its story. It really makes you think about what we value and why, and at what exact moment something like a car stops being just a machine and turns into a legend.